Do I qualify for EB2 NIW? That's probably the number one question I get asked. I get asked that question a lot here in the YouTube channel, in this one, in the one in Spanish, and in my email address all the time. So today we're going to talk about that question. Hey, my name is Oscar, and as you know, I'm a scientist, not a lawyer. In this channel, I talk about green cards like EB1A or EB2 NIW, in which you can be the owner of your own process. You can do it without lawyers, saving a lot of money, but also you can do it without having a sponsor, without having a company backing you up. Here in this channel, we talk about that. I have online courses to guide you step by step if you choose to do it by yourself. But the first question that you are asking is, do I qualify? Because I don't want to enter into this complicated process if I'm going to be rejected immediately. And I get that. I absolutely understand where you're coming from. So today we're going to talk a little bit about that topic so you can start really understanding if you have a chance or not. You can just skip this altogether and move on to a different immigration process, or you have some hope and maybe you want to start exploring this more in detail. Okay, so this is for people that are in the earlier phases of this process. This is the $1 million question. Like I said, I get asked this a lot, and I have more than actually on this, but here I have one that is quite old now that was exactly addressing this question, but I wanted to update the content and provide a little bit more detail. I mean, time has passed, things change, so I'm going to be doing a very improvised episode today. I have just a few slides and I'm going to be just speaking up my mind and telling you a little bit about this topic. It is true, this question drives me a little bit crazy when I get asked if I qualify or not. And again, I understand where you're coming from, but I'm not the right person to tell you. And definitely some dudes on Facebook groups are not the right people to tell you. If you want to have a professional evaluate your case, go and find a lawyer. There's lawyers that do this for free. Don't ask me who. Do your own research and find them. But in my opinion, as a do-it-yourself proponent, as someone that really encourages people to take their own future in their own hands, my proposal to you is that you should be the one that evaluates your own case. Why? Because with the information you have out there, including in this channel, you can understand what is EB2 NIW and what are the requirements. And once you do that, you are the one that is the expert on your own profile. There's no one else that can judge your qualifications, your history, your professional history, and your future plans in the US better than you. You are the number one expert on yourself. So here I want to give you the tools so you can do that evaluation, so you can really step by step in a systematic way understand if you stand a chance in this process. All right, so just very briefly, an example of what I'm talking about. These are just a few comments that I gathered in 10 minutes from my YouTube channel. I have questions about, do I qualify if I'm a computer scientist? Do I qualify if I have 3 to 5 years of experience? Do I qualify if I'm a cinematographer, a director? Can I file for EB2 NIW? What about if I have a PhD in this or that? And then one that I really love is, I have a bachelor's degree. Do I qualify? So here today, you're going to learn the basics on how to evaluate your case, okay? And it's not only in my YouTube channel or my email. I'm not showing you emails here, but I also see them in public Facebook groups. People ask this question a lot, and I see some answers that the answers really drive me crazy, because the questions, I understand where you're coming from, like I said, but it's the answers I see. Some people answering, yes, you have 85% chance, or you have 99%, or 50%. How do they come up with these numbers? Well, there's no way they can come up with those numbers. They just make them up. So they post as experts, as experts in this field. So then they can attract people to pay them to consult for them. So I don't like these shady businesses where someone on Facebook asks a question and then the answer is, come inbox, tell me in a private message and I will be your guide. No, go with people with reputation, go with people where you know who this person is, what's their history, why do they know about this, do they have credibility or not, and don't pay people that you don't know anything about, okay? I wouldn't even listen to them for free, okay? Some of these people that I see on Facebook, they are clearly using ChatGPT to answer some questions just to gain credibility, fake credibility in the platform. So that's my rant for today. Oscar's rant is over, and maybe I will rant again a second time, but about something different. And now let's move to the topic, because the answer to the question, do I qualify, is no other than the Matter of Dhanasar. That's always the answer. The Matter of Dhanasar is what really dictates how you can pass this test that USCIS will impose on you. So we have two parts. One is the easy part, and that is the EB2 requirement. You can qualify if you have an advanced degree or exceptional ability, and then you have the difficult part, which is the 3 prongs of the Matter of Dhanasar. I'm going to go step by step, and we're going to go over this. It's been a while since I don't do this. It's been a while since I show you this diagram that I really like about the Matter of Dhanasar. So let's go step by step. Let's start with the easy part, okay? Can you qualify with what degree? Okay, so advanced degree is the easiest route. If you have a master's or a PhD, that's what they call advanced degree. You are done. If you have a foreign degree, you need to evaluate it in a reputable credential evaluation agency. If you have an American master or PhD, you don't have to do that step, no matter where you studied. Master's or PhD, you are done with advanced degree. You do not need exceptional ability. This is very important. Common mistake. People go for both. You don't need both. You need one or the other. If you have advanced degree, you're done. Master's or PhD is the easiest way to go about, but not everyone has a master's or PhD. No problem. If you have a bachelor and 5 years of progressive post-graduation experience, this is important. The 5 years experience should be after you graduate with a bachelor. Then that counts as an advanced degree. It's equivalent to having a master's or a PhD. And between the master's, the PhD, and bachelor in 5 years, most people out there that are looking into this option will qualify, okay? But again, this is not everything. This is the first part. Then we have the Matter of Dhanasar. Okay, foreign degrees are accepted if equivalent, like I said, and if the profession requires a doctorate, for example, certain medical doctors, but medical doctors are a little bit of a special topic, so I'm not going to go into that. But if you require that kind of doctorate to, for example, be licensed to practice your profession, then you need to have that doctorate. Again, most people are not subject to this rule, okay? So don't worry about it. So master, PhD, bachelor 5 years, okay? That's what you need, the bare minimum you need to qualify this first stage. Now, if you don't have any of this, you still have the exceptional ability. It's more difficult to get accepted under exceptional ability because you have to meet 3 out of 6 criteria. Today, I'm not going to get into all those 6 criteria. You can find them in a different video I have, and also you can find them in the USCIS website. But remember, even if you meet 3 out of 6, then they will look at your profile as a whole, and you need to show that as a whole, your profile is exceptional. Okay, so they have more discretion if you go through exceptional ability. That's why I never recommend exceptional ability if you can do it through advanced degree, which is way more objective. In fact, it's the only objective part of the EB2 NIW process. Okay, so this is the easy part. Now, after a 30-second break, we're going to go with the difficult part. Because I wanted to tell you about my websites, eb1greencard.info and eb2niw.info. In those websites, I have a ton of resources for people that want to do the process by themselves. No matter if it's an EB1 or an EB2 NIW, I have websites for each. I have a lot of publications, posts that you can read, and I have sample petitions. And above all, I have online courses that are comprehensive guides to guide you through each step of putting together your own petition without having a lawyer, without having to pay thousands of dollars to someone, to provide that information for you. I disclose all the requirements, how to fulfill them, how to put together your petition cover letter, your business or professional plan. We have deals with a couple of companies if you need certain services, for example, a professional plan or an independent recommendation letter or a credential evaluation report. You will have discounts on those. You can submit questions in each lesson, and once a month we meet in a live session so you can ask me everything you want. So join us. I really hope I'll see you in the course. So now let's continue with the not so easy part. The not so easy part is the 3 prongs of the Matter of Dhanasar. Hopefully, if you started doing some research, you have come across these terms. And basically here I have a 3-prong plaque, because you need to fulfill these 3 legs of the process. But out of the 3 of them, there are 2 that are more important, and there is 1 that is really the key. The first one, endeavor has substantial merit and national importance. That's the number 1 part of your process that you should really focus on if you want to evaluate your profile. Number 2 is also quite important, is about you, how you're well positioned to advance this endeavor. And number 3 is the least important one. You still have to write about it and you have to provide some arguments. In my course, I show you how to do each of these parts, including part 3. But in my opinion, this is the least important part. So let's go with the critical parts. Prong number 1, your endeavor has substantial merit and national importance. But the most important part is your endeavor and the national importance of it. So what is an endeavor? An endeavor is your project, your professional project for the United States, for your life in the US. Is what I call in my course, the course members have heard this a lot, is your professional mission in the US. What are you going to dedicate your life in the US professionally? So for example, if you are like me, you're an engineer, you're a biotech engineer, your endeavor is not just to be an engineer in the US. You have to provide some statement that has concrete details about what you're going to do specifically over the next 5, 10, 20 years. So it has to be specific enough and it has to be non-technical enough so the USCIS officer understands what you're talking about. But remember that the second part is that it has to have national importance. That's critical. So when you are thinking about your proposed endeavor, you need to think about it as, what is the problem I'm going to help solving in the US? Imagine that the US has a clear problem with, for example, energy. They need to produce more energy to become energy independent, and your degree and your professional life has been related to that. So you can create a proposed endeavor that tackles that problem and present it to USCIS. That would be the right way of approaching this problem. The endeavor is not just your profession. The endeavor has to have substance, has to have enough details, and has to have practical applications, because you are selling this as solving a problem or advancing an important area, an area of national importance. For example, certain subfields in cybersecurity, they are nationally important because you are helping to solve certain problems, for example, fraud in internet sales, right? A lot of people are affected by phishing, by all these kinds of scams online. And if you have the skills, the knowledge, and the professional history doing things like that, you can put together an endeavor that is very interesting, very engaging for the officer to think, okay, this guy is going to help us with this problem that we have documented through White House, through laws, through executive orders and presidential speeches. There is concrete evidence that we need this, and he has the right project for it. He or she, of course. So endeavor, really, really critical. But the second thing that it is almost as critical once you have defined what the endeavor is and why it has national importance is that you are well positioned. And what does this mean? It means that not only you have a good plan, an appealing plan that the officer will really be excited about because you're providing proof that the US needs this type of skill sets, this type of plans, but you also have proof that you are the right person to do this job. you have good credentials, you have the right education, you have examples of projects you have done in the past, be it in the US or abroad, where you have solved similar problems or you have advanced similar areas. You perhaps have received an award, you have published either peer review publications or other kinds of publications. You have garnered the support from other experts in your areas, and that's through independent letters, for example, of recommendations. You have a salary, a remuneration that is above others in your field, which means that you are valued by companies or institutions more than other professionals in your field. In essence, you are above average if you compare yourself with people in your profession, in your geographical area. You are always above others. You don't have to be the top 10% or more. That would be EB1. But you have to clearly show that you have done more than others. And when we talk about projects that you have done, you have to show that your projects have impacted others beyond your customers, beyond your organization. That's really important. USCIS is looking at broader impacts. One, in prong number one, we were talking about our endeavor. You have to show that it will impact others beyond your organization, beyond your company. But also when you talk in prong number two about your contributions to the field, you have to show that they have been impactful to the field. What are good professions or good sectors for having a successful proposed endeavors? Well, really any profession or any sector can be good for NIW. That's the beauty of NIW. But there are certain professions that USCIS really doesn't like that much. Doesn't mean that you cannot be successful. It means it will be more difficult. And the number one, and you have probably heard me talking about this a few times, is teachers. USCIS doesn't really like teaching because of a few different reasons. I have a video on that, and you can go watch it. So if you have a teaching endeavor, you're likely to not succeed. But if you're a teacher, you can still frame your endeavor in a different way. For example, you're going to be focused on creating curriculum for other teachers across America in a certain topic that you are an expert on, or you are going to develop resources for schools across America, or you're going to put together professional activities where students across America, they have to go and compete. Imagine doing some innovation, robotics, or something like that, especially if it's STEM related. So you have to create an endeavor that really has broader impact outside of your classroom, outside of your school. And that applies for anyone else. Of course, there are endeavors that are maybe easier to put together if you work in cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, but even if you work in certain agriculture areas, it's going to be easy to show that it can have national importance. Like I said, biofuels, biotech, medical devices, pharmaceuticals. There's so many areas where you can confidently put together an endeavor that is successful. But like I said, you are the best person to do this. Not a lawyer, not anyone else, definitely not some random dude on Facebook. You know yourself, you know by doing some research, you know what the US needs, what the president has talked about, what the Secretary of Commerce has talked about, and any member of the cabinet, what the Congress has published about, and you can target based on your strengths what should be your proposed endeavor. And I'm confident that if you follow this philosophy, you are going to be on the right track. If you want more details about this, join our courses, because I'll show you how to write things. You will still be the owner of your endeavor. I'm not going to tell you what your endeavor is, but I'm going to tell you how to write that endeavor, how to write the national importance of it, how to argue for it, and how to put a petition that is more likely to succeed than if you are just doing it by yourself and you are lost, basically. And let me tell you one thing, a little secret. It's probably also going to be better than if certain lawyers write it for you. I mean, and not talking about shady consultants from Facebook. Okay, that's just a different league that I don't really want to talk about. So thank you for being here one more week. I hope this was useful, this improvised video, and I will see you again next week, probably with the Visa Bulletin update. All right. Bye bye.